Rusty!
Welcome back to the Tigerium Hangar. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about the Magic Square MS-B16A Strongman. This is a recolored version of the Magic Square's G1 take on a Legend scale Huffer. Now, I do think it looks really good overall, and this is the design that I wanted, and I missed it the first time, so I'm glad that they put it back out to pick up. And so we're going to talk about this. Now, I did get this at ShowZ. I will leave a link down below where you can get yours, because the last one sold out, and it's been another year and a half, 2 years, and so who knows how long this will be around. So anyway, I'm just to let you know about this. We're going to talk about this coming up. Usually I show the packaging with the figure in it, but this time I'm just going to kind of show it empty box. This is one where it does have the window. So I think it's simply because the original one had the window. So I think new figures that are brand new out, they're leaving the window out for some reason. But this is old school, and I like it. I do like getting your figure and it looking like something you'd want to see in the store. There's the packaging. All right, so here is the figure. Now, I did say it's a recolor, so I don't have the first version, so I'm going to show a picture of the first version so you can kind of see the differences and see if maybe this one's not for you. You want to go back and seek out the first version or something like that. But I do kind of like how this is silver versus kind of gray, and there's not quite as big of a contrast in the color scheme on the chest. The color breakup's a little bit different. So there's things to like about this. On the other one, I think some of the colors are a little bit brighter, so kind of a brighter look. This is more of a muted sort of pastel, sort of almost a more real world kind of look on the figure. So showing that little bit of comparison is a great way to start out. First thing I want to say is that this is quintessentially a Huffer. You look at this and you see Huffer. You do not question who this figure is whatsoever. So with that, the design is very clean, and he has a bit of a smaller bot, smaller even for the Legends, but it's because he's a mini bot. But you know, in my mind, the scaling, when we get scaling, is going to work really well. So, I mean, you can see he's not tiny, but at a pretty good price point. He's actually priced as a really tiny bot. So that's pretty cool too. Now, with this, he does have very little paint, but there is paint on the face. So you can see that he's got his eyes painted. You can see that he's got the silver on his face painted and all that kind of stuff. And for the most part, I think his shoulders, the whole arms look painted. And of course, we do have a little bit of paint on the chest and accents here and there through it. And he's very clean front and back. They did hide the wheels, and they hid all of the wheels, which is fantastic. I'm going to show you two other versions that didn't hide the wheels at all. And so that's just really impressive. I do like that. And I'll tell you something else that this can be used for when we do comparisons. So really nice overall. So I think they did a great job with the design and a great job with execution. And the little bit of paint that's on there is done well. So I'm okay with that. I would like a little more paint overall, but it is Legends and they are hitting that price point. It only comes with one accessory, and it's this purple gun, and I like purple and I like the gun, so it gets the job done. At the end of the day, I would have liked paint on it too, like some accents or something, but we know every paint app costs a little bit more money. That's more pennies. They put the paint in the windows and stuff, so we'll see more of that kind of stuff when we go to the alt mode. Yeah, so it's a huge gun for this guy, though. I mean, for this size of a character, I would have thought his gun would be a little smaller, but, you know, it's a big, long gun. Almost like instead of a pistol, which it really is, it looks almost like it's getting into rifle size. Doing a little bit of articulation, his head does move back and forth and up just a little bit, so it's not really... I think it's on a ball joint, but it doesn't go up that much because it's really low. Shoulder can go out to here, and of course, if you move his back, this back piece, you can get a lot more range out of it. Bicep swivel is great. It's actually pretty tight. It's pretty tight. You do get a 90 at the elbow, and the hand moving a little bit, and the hand is literally just a molded hand with a hole in it, so you can put his gun in there. You do have the waist swivel and the signature ab crunch. So Magic Square always has like a huge ab crunch in their figures. I don't know about their secrets though, because I don't own them. So I mean, maybe that's a sore spot. All the way out and pretty much all the way to the back, if you really wanted to. So you can do all the splits both ways, always. got the thigh swivel in it. You've got the 90 in the knee. And remember, this is an older design. This is a year, 2 years old. I don't remember exactly when the other one came out. So decent articulation. You got a lot of stuff going on with that foot because of the transformation. So you can do quite a bit there. So with comparisons, I want to show a couple of things with comparisons. First of all, this is, I think, like McFan's Toys Mechanic Studio, whatever, and you see much brighter colors. And then you see the G1, you see much brighter colors. So the brighter colors on the G1 and the McFan's Toys kind of match, and the kind of the color scheme of his chest and stuff match more or less the first version of him. But there's bits and pieces, like it takes the first two versions, the first and second version of him are kind of mixed up color-wise in him. So pretty interesting right there. And then you can see that design-wise, he just kills the McFan's Toys one. And size-wise, I do think this one is too big because he is bigger than a lot of the other ones. But if you kind of say, okay, well, alt mode, he's probably the right size. But you see that the wheels are not hidden. The wheels are not hidden on those, but they're hidden really well on the Magic Square. And I really comparably on price. I mean, I think he was probably $5 cheaper than this guy is. So the design is so much better. Pretty interesting. Plus, I think this is a really kind of terrible design for a G1 toy. It was. I never had him as a kid. I don't remember, but I just think it's a terrible design as a toy. If I had him, I never played with him because it's just not that great of a toy. But I want to say this could be your G1 stand-in if you want it. So how does he mix in with some other figures? Well, here is the Prime, and I think that scale is perfect. New Age is way too small for their. Was it Henry? Well, it's their Ironhide version is just too small. This is RC. I think is sized perfectly for the McFan's Toys, and this is a decent size scale, but that is definitely a different company. That one is the Iron Factory. So looking at kind of a different companies and how they would scale, Magic Square scales very well with Magic Square. All right, let's get into transforming this bad boy. It is actually a pretty simplistic transformation, which I do like. Sometimes they can get to be a little bit complex, so we're going to move the shoulders down and out of the way. And as you move the shoulders down, you're going to kind of rotate this shoulder out. And that fits in there just fine. And we can just kind of move them down out of the way for now. Then we can push this back and it brings the wheels out. So real clever and simplistic. Now, when he's in this bot mode, you can sort of see the wheels a little bit, but it's like 95% hidden. So I like that. And out comes the wheels. Let's go ahead and turn his head around right now before we start clipping the wheels in place. But they come out and clip in just like so. Nice and easy. And then when we fold this down, you're going to clip these into here. So you want to rotate it until you see, not that part. You want to rotate this part till you see the tab that's the slot that's gonna tab in. You see that slot right there. And then you can tab it in, and then make sure this is to the outside so it looks good. Do the same thing on the other side, and you could always pre-rotate these if you want, but this just sort of makes sense to me in my head, so that's how I like to do stuff that makes sense in my head. All right, tabbing all that in, kind of straighten it up. Now we need to rotate the waist all the way around. It seems like most transformations have that. We are going to fold the foot out and then pull this out. And then this thing here untabs and slides around, which is kind of cool. Now it can't slide inward because the tab is going to block it. So it has to slide outward, and you have to keep the leg kind of straight while you do it. And then you fold this over all the way. Rotate the foot out like so. And then there's going to be a tab here and a notch there. And so we tab that in, and then we've pretty much got one foot done. Close that gap off there, do the other foot, fold this out like so, spin this piece here around to here, then open the foot like so, take it around to tab it in. My arm came untabbed while doing this, so we can, I guess, fold that out. Let's go ahead and tab this together now so that we can get this in And now we just tighten it up. It's pretty much done. That's a simple, simplistic, easy transformation for a pretty good figure. So let me use this for comparison, and I just want to show how simple things used to be back in the day. You literally just fold his arms back, push them in, close his feet, and then collapse that. Like, that is literally how easy things used to be back in the day. So here's Huffer. He actually does look pretty decent as a little Huffer, and I like the transformation. I like that it wasn't insane, it wasn't ridiculously hard, and the fact that it works, it looks good in both modes. Now, you could argue that it almost looks like these feet that are there, that is like the worst looking part. It just looks kind of strange. Would have been nice if maybe the toes had articulation. So if you added toe articulation and the toes folded over, that would have looked a whole lot better. But really, that's my only complaint with it. Like, yeah, that would have looked almost perfect with folding toes. But every single pin and joint and all that kind of stuff that you add into it adds more to the cost, the expense. But looking at it, we have some blue. It's not transparent, but it is a nice blue to it. And that looks good. It looks fine. We have paint right here with the wipers and the grill, and it all matches. So yeah, now I'm convinced these are painted because this matches this and that. So that's got to work really well. The rest of it's just kind of bare orange and some black. We got the pins as rims, which some people don't like that, but I'm okay with it. It's not the end of the world. Pretty clean on the bottom overall, pretty clean on the top. So yeah, looking good. Let's go ahead and get into some comparisons. Here it is side by side compared to the G1, and I think that the G1 is always going to look, I say, best in alt mode, in my opinion. It's just kind of what I think of when I think of a G1 Huffer. I think of that alt mode. But overall, this looks more cartoonish, which is really the direction we're going with the third party and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it looks good. Okay, so I have a few different companies here. So this is New Age. Let's see, New Age, Magic Square, Iron Factory, and then Magic Square. So different companies, different sizes and scales, and kind of how it works. I think it pretty much will work just fine in alt mode with pretty much anything, because he should actually be a little bit bigger in alt mode, so that works. Lastly, comparing him to the McFans Toys Huffer, and the McFans Toys is much simplistic in design, and transformation on both, I would say, is about equal time-wise, but the sophistication in design on this actually makes for a smoother transformation. This guy here has a few points which are just kind of rough, although it's not a hard transformation. It's just kind of rough. It's actually feels like, you know, kind of some bending and swaying past stuff, which you don't do in this. Really, everything just fits right. So this might be relegated to just for some comparison purposes in the future. So I think a Huffer. I think that this Magic Square B16A Strongman looks really good, transforms really well, gets the job done. And so overall, I'm pretty happy with them. Just in alt mode, I think that the toes should have kind of folded over and made it look a little bit better. Really, my only complaint about the guy overall, I always would like a little bit more paint. I would like maybe clear windshield, all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, for the price point, it's around the $30 price point. I'm going to have a link down below at Shozy where you can get yours. And the other sad part is that Shozy kind of stopped giving us these stickers. And now they're giving us different stickers. So I'm glad I got a bunch of decals while we still had time, because that was so cool. They did this for like 3 months straight. Everything you ordered got those stickers. Hope they do it again down the road. That was awesome. But anyway, a link down below where you can get yours. Let me know what you think about this guy in the comments below. What is your favorite Legends scale version of Huffer? Like, subscribe to Deer Hanger. Out. Alright, let's take him back real quick, see how quickly we can get this dude back into his alt mode or bot mode and all that kind of good stuff. Flipping all that around, foot around, back into position, kind of the same thing over here. Pretty simple stuff overall. That around, untab his arms, Open this up. Flip it to the back. Flip that around. Put that to the top. Get his shoulders in place and his shoulders in place, and then put his gun on him. All right, well, pretty easy transformation.
To get to the point. Autobots meet Dinobots. Dinobots, huh? I thought you were supposed to make dinosaurs.